I died choking on my own blood in the hallway of my own goddamn house. The antique Persian rug soaking up the life I'd poured into it like it was just another spill to clean up. The last thing I saw was my son's face, twisted not in horror, but in cold calculation, as he stepped over me to grab the checkbook from my desk. And then, like a bad reboot in one of those sci-fi flicks my late husband used to love, I woke up gasping in my bed, 20 years younger, the date on my nightstand clock screaming 2005, the year it all went to hell before it even started. My name's Sophie Harlan, and if you think betrayal stings like a bee, try getting stung by the kid you raised from diapers, the one you sacrificed everything for. Back then, I was 52, widowed for a decade, scraping by on a pension from the library where I'd shelved books for 30 years in this sleepy corner of suburban Chicago. My son, Ethan, was my world, sharp as a tack, charming as sin, the golden boy who'd aced Yale on my nickel and half my liver when his nearly gave out at 18 from some dumb hazing stunt. I never asked for thanks. Hell, I never even asked for the house he grew up in to stay in the family. But when he rolled up in that shiny BMW he'd borrowed from a buddy, grinning like he'd won the lottery, and announced he'd bought a McMansion in Oak Park for his new bride, Lila, some trust fund pixie with a law degree and eyes like a shark, I figured it was just ambition talking. Boy, was I wrong. That morning in 2005, as I bolted upright in my queen-sized bed with its faded floral duvet, the kind I'd sewn myself back when crafting was cheaper than therapy, my heart hammered like I'd run a marathon. The room smelled of fresh coffee from the Mr. Coffee downstairs. Wait, that was the old one, the one that sputtered like an asthmatic chain smoker. I stumbled to the mirror, and there I was, wrinkles softer, hair more auburn than gray, the body that hadn't yet ballooned from stress-eating microwave dinners. Holy shit, I whispered, touching my face like it was a stranger's. 20 years. I'd clawed my way back from the grave, or whatever cosmic glitch had zapped me here, right before Ethan dropped the bomb that would unravel everything. Downstairs, the kitchen was a time capsule of Formica counters and yellowed curtains. I poured coffee with shaking hands, the steam curling up like ghosts from my old life. Ethan would call today. I remembered it crystal clear, the way his voice had that fake excitement, like he was pitching a used car. Mom, Lila and I found the perfect place. It's got a pool, a home office. Think of the grandkids. Grandkids we'd never have, because by the time he was done squeezing me dry, there was nothing left to pass on. In my first life, I'd said yes to that mortgage demand, signing over my savings, my retirement, even remortgaging this creaky old colonial I'd inherited from my folks. 800 grand, he'd said, casual as ordering pizza. It's an investment, Mom, for the family. And I believed him, because what mother wouldn't? Until the day he accidentally left the back door unlocked, and the burglars who ransacked the place took more than my jewelry. They took my life, staging it like a fall down the stairs. Ethan collected the insurance payout, sold the house out from under me posthumously, and jetted off to Napa with Lila to start fresh. Not this time. This time, I was the ghost come back to haunt. I sipped my coffee, black and bitter, plotting like a character out of one of those gritty thrillers I devoured on slow shifts at the library. First things first, confirm the date. I flicked on the ancient TV in the living room, the one with rabbit ears that always needed adjusting. CNN blared about Hurricane Katrina's aftermath, gas prices spiking to $3 a gallon. Yep, 2005. Ethan's wedding was 6 months away. The house purchase? 2 weeks from now. I had time. Time to dig, to unravel the threads of their little web before they could spin it around me. By noon, my phone rang. The landline, that shrill trill that always made my teeth ache. I let it go to the machine, just to hear his voice, to test if the venom was already there. Hey, Mom. It's Ethan. Call me back when you get this. Got some exciting news. Exciting. Right. I picked up on the second ring, forcing my voice steady. Hey, kiddo. What's up? We chatted about nothing. His job at the investment firm downtown. How Lila was killing it at her boutique law practice specializing in. What was it? Estate planning. Ironic, that. He danced around it for 10 minutes before the hook. So, Lila and I might have found a place. In Oak Park. It's perfect. 4 beds, 3 baths, the works. But, closing costs are a beast. Thought maybe you could help out? Like old times. Old times. When I'd sold my engagement ring to cover his tuition. When I'd worked doubles so he could summer in Europe. How much we talking, Ethan? My voice was honey over gravel, the way I'd learned to sound when negotiating with overdue book deadbeats. 800K for the down payment and fees. Mortgage will be manageable once we're in, but up front. Phew. He laughed, that boyish chuckle that used to melt me. Now it curdled my stomach. I paused, letting the silence stretch like taffy. In the old timeline, I'd stammered yes, wired the money by week's end. This time, 800,000? Jesus, Ethan, that's my entire nest egg. The house, the savings gone. What about your trust from Dad's side? Or Lila's folks? She's got that vineyard estate, right? He hemmed and hawed, the charm cracking just a hair. Mom, come on. It's for the future. Our future. Yours too. You'll love visiting the grandkids there. Grandkids? The word was a knife twist. In my first go-round, there were none. Just empty rooms and Lila's sterile nursery that never got used. I'll think about it, I said finally, hanging up before he could push. My hands trembled as I gripped the receiver. Think about it. I'd do more than that. I'd burn it all down. That afternoon, I drove my old Taurus to the library, the engine coughing like it resented the cold snap in the air. October in Illinois always felt like winter's rude preview. I parked in the lot, the one with the faded lines, and sat there a minute, staring at the brick facade where I'd spent half my life. Retirement was 5 years away in this timeline, plenty of time to stockpile evidence. Inside, the place hummed with the familiar quiet. Kids thumbing through Goosebumps, old-timers snoring over the Tribune. My boss, Mrs. Hargrove, waved from the circulation desk. Sophie, you're early. Everything okay? Just peachy. I lied, flashing a smile as I clocked in. But instead of shelving, I headed to the computers, the clunky Dells with dial-up that took forever to boot. I logged into my AOL account, the one with the cheesy screen name, Bookworm Mom 42, and started searching. Ethan Harlan plus Lila Voss. Wedding announcements, society pages, nothing juicy yet. But I knew where to dig deeper. Public records. Cook County Clerk's Office online portal was rudimentary, but it had property deeds, liens, the basics. An hour in, and bingo, Lila's family. The Vosses weren't just loaded. They were old money, Chicago blue bloods with fingers in real estate and politics. Her father, Reginald Voss, had a rap sheet buried under NDAs. Insider trading whispers from the 90s, settled out of court. And Ethan? He'd clerked for Voss's firm straight out of Yale. Not coincidence. Nepotism, maybe. Or worse. By closing time, my notepad was filled with scribbles, names, dates, connections. I tucked it into my purse, the leather one Dad gave me for my 30th, and headed home. Dinner was a sad lean cuisine in front of the TV, some cop show rerun, ironic given the circumstances. As the detective grilled a suspect, I wondered, how far would I go? In my old life, I'd been the fool, the martyr. This time, I'd be the reckoning. Sleep came fitful, dreams laced with blood and boardroom deals. I woke to another call from Ethan, this one edgier. Mom? You didn't call back. Look, Lila's excited. We need to move fast. The market's hot. Hot. Like hellfire. I'm still thinking, I said, channeling calm I didn't feel. But Ethan, level with me. Is this really about a house? Or something else? Silence, then a sigh. What are you getting at, Mom? It's a home. Our home. Our home. I echoed, tasting the lie. Fine. Let's meet for coffee tomorrow. The bean in the loop. Noon. He agreed, relief flooding his voice. Little did he know, I wasn't coming to write a check. I was coming to collect debts. The next day dawned gray, the kind of Chicago sky that promised rain but delivered sleet instead. I dressed sharp, slacks from Talbot's, the blouse with the pearl buttons I'd saved for funerals. No makeup. Let them see the steel in my eyes. Traffic on the Dan Ryan was a nightmare, horns blaring like accusations, but I made it to the loop with 5 minutes to spare. The coffee shop buzzed with suits and students, the air thick with espresso and entitlement. Ethan and Lila were already there, tucked in a corner booth. He looked every bit the up-and-comer, crisp Oxford, hair gelled just so. She was a vision, blonde waves, red lipstick, that diamond tennis bracelet glinting like a warning. They stood to hug me, but I held back, sliding into the seat across from them. Mom, you look great, Ethan said, air-kissing my cheek. Lila smiled, all teeth. Sophie, darling, so good to see you. Darling. Like I was some eccentric aunt, not the woman footing their fantasy. We ordered black coffee for me, lattes for them, and Dove in. So, the house. I started stirring sugar I didn't need. Tell me more. Ethan launched into it. The gourmet kitchen, the master suite with spa bath, the neighborhood schools for future little Harlans. Lila chimed in with square footage stats, her voice modulated like a closing argument. But I watched their hands, his drumming the table, hers tracing the rim of her cup. Nervous ticks, both. Sounds dreamy, I said when they paused for breath. But $800K? That's my security, kids. After your dad died, I rebuilt from scratch. This house, our house, it's all I've got. Ethan's face fell, practiced. Mom, we wouldn't ask if it wasn't important. It's an investment. Property values are skyrocketing. You'll get it back tenfold when we flip it in a few years. Flip it. There it was, the first thread. In my old life, they'd flipped it all right after my accident, pocketing the profit while auctioning my belongings like junk. And if I say no? The words hung there, bold as brass. Lila's smile tightened. Sophie, it's family. We stick together. Family. The word ignited something feral in me. Speaking of, Lila, your dad, Reginald, he ever mentioned that old SEC probe? The one where his associates got a slap on the wrist. Her eyes narrowed, just a flicker. What? Ethan shifted. Mom, what's this about? We're talking house, not history. Oh, but history's everything, isn't it? I leaned in, voice low. See, I did some reading. Your clerkship at Voss and Associates? Right after Yale. And that bonus you got for performance? Smells like a favor. Or a foot in the door for something bigger. The booth went tomb silent. A barista called an order. Somewhere, a phone buzzed. Ethan's jaw clenched. You're out of line, Mom. This is paranoia. Paranoia. I laughed, sharp and ugly. Try survival. Because if you think I'm signing over my life for your starter palace, you're dumber than I raised you. Lila recovered first, all silk and steel. Perhaps we should table this. Emotions are high. No. I snapped, standing so fast my chair scraped like nails on chalkboard. Heads turned. I didn't care. Table it. Like you table me after I said yes the first time? The burglary, Ethan? The one where you forgot to lock the door? And poof. Insurance money. New life in California, while I'm 6 feet under. They stared, frozen. Good. Let it sink in. What the hell are you talking about? Ethan hissed, but his eyes, God, his eyes, darted like a cornered rat. I dropped a 10 on the table for my coffee and walked out, the bell jingling like a death knell. Outside, the sleet pelted my face, cold and cleansing. I'd planted the seed. Now, watch it choke the garden. Back home, the adrenaline crash hit hard. I paced the kitchen, replaying it. The shock on their faces, the way Lila's bracelet caught the light like a noose. Had I gone too far? In this new life, the rules were mine to rewrite, but damn if it didn't feel like stepping on live wires. I poured a tumbler of bourbon, Dad's old bottle, dusty in the cabinet, and sank into the armchair by the window. The street outside was quiet, leaves skittering like secrets in the wind. My mind raced back to the old timeline, the details sharpening like a knife on whetstone. After I'd signed the papers, Ethan had been sweeter than pie for a month. Dinners at Giordano's, tickets to the Cubs. Then the incidents started, little digs about my outdated style, how the house needed updating before they could help manage it. Lila's idea, no doubt. She'd whisper about elder care costs, how it'd be easier if I moved to assisted living. I'd laughed it off, blind fool that I was. The fall came on a Tuesday. I'd been baking his favorite, apple pie, the one with the lattice crust that took forever. Oven mitts on, pulling it out, when the phone rang. Ethan, frantic. Mom, emergency at work. Can you wire another 5K? Closing extension. I'd turned, foot catching on the rug he'd noticed was frayed weeks before. Tumble, crack, neck snapping like dry twigs. But the blood? That was from the intruders who arrived post-fall, ransacking drawers, pocketing the deed I'd just signed over as collateral. Autopsy said accident. Insurance said payout. Ethan said tears at the funeral. Lies, all of it. The bourbon burned going down, steadying me. I wasn't drunk. I was awake. Time to lawyer up. My old friend from the library circuit, Marla Goldstein, was a no-nonsense attorney in Evanston. Divorces, wills, the gritty stuff. I called her that night, leaving a vague message. Need advice on protecting assets from family. Urgent. She rang back at dawn, voice gravel from too many smokes. Sophie? Spill. You sound like you're burying bodies. Worse, I said. Unburying them. I laid it out. Not the rebirth, that'd land me in a psych ward. But the fears, the research. Ethan's pushing for my savings on a house. Feels off. Like he's angling for more. Marla whistled low. Classic elder financial abuse playbook. Set up a trust, irrevocable. Lock that money down. And get a PI on the kid, discreet. I know a guy, ex-cop named Riley. Costs a pretty penny, but worth it. By noon, I'd wired her a retainer and met Riley at a diner off the Kennedy. He was burly, 50s, with a mustache like a broom bristle and eyes that missed nothing. Over eggs and hash, I briefed him. Ethan and Lila's finances, movements, connections to Voss. Dig deep, I said. I want dirt that'll stick. He nodded, forking sausage. You got it, lady. But why the vendetta? Kid steal your parking spot. Something like that. I muttered. Call it mother's intuition on steroids. Riley chuckled. All right, 2 weeks for prelims. Cash up front. I slid an envelope across. $5 grand from the cookie jar stash. Feels like stealing from my future self. But hell, I'd earned it twice over. The days blurred into a tense routine. Library shifts where I'd zone out alphabetizing bestsellers, dreaming of revenge plots that'd make Grisham blush. Evenings, I'd pore over Riley's encrypted emails, burner phone drops, mostly. First hit, Ethan's bonus from Voss and Associates? Not performance. A kickback for funneling clients to a shady real estate flip scheme. Offshore accounts, shell companies, amateur hour compared to Wall Street wolves, but enough to tank a career. Then Lila, her boutique firm? Front for Voss Senior's money laundering. Estate planning my ass, more like estate evading. Documents showed her signing off on transfers that screamed tax dodge. But the real gut punch came week 2. A photo attachment, grainy but damning. Ethan and Reginald Voss, huddled in a back booth at Morton's Steakhouse, passing a briefcase. Timestamp, last month. Riley's note, they're in bed deep. Your boy's not just the son-in-law, he's the fixer. Fixer. The word echoed, twisting the knife. My boy, the one I'd bandaged knees for, now greasing palms for felonies. I printed it all, stashing copies in a fireproof box under the floorboards, the same spot I'd hidden Dad's war medals. Ethan called daily, texts piling up. Mom, talk to us. This hurts. Lila's crying. Crocodile tears. I ghosted them, letting the silence fester. Until the voicemail that broke the dam. Ethan's voice, slurred from scotch, rage bubbling. You think you're clever, digging around? Back off, or you'll regret it. Family first, remember? Threats. In the old life, I dismissed them as stress. Now, fuel. I confronted him that night, unannounced. Drove to their loop condo, the pre-McMansion crash pad, all chrome and glass. Buzzed up, heart pounding like a bass drum. He answered in boxers and a White Sox tee, reeking of booze. Mom? What the? Invite me in, Ethan, or I scream bloody murder right here. He stepped aside, sullen. The place was a showroom, abstract art, a bar cart stocked with top shelf. Lila emerged from the bedroom, robe cinched tight, hair tousled like she'd been napping. Or plotting. Sophie, she purred. To what do we owe? Cut the crap. I slapped the printouts on the coffee table, Voss payoffs, account ledgers. Explain. Ethan's face drained of color. Where'd you get this? Doesn't matter. What matters is you're running a con, and I'm not your mark. Lila snatched a page, scanning. This is libel. Forged. Bullshit. It's you, Voss, and a briefcase of dirty money. Ethan's your mule, Lila, and I'm done bankrolling it. He lunged for the papers, but I was faster. Old lady reflexes be damned. Touch me, and I call the feds. I know a guy at the SEC, from library donors. One email, and your empire crumbles. Empire. Ethan sneered, but fear cracked through. It's business, Mom. Survival in this city. Survival? Try greed. You killed me for less, in another life. They exchanged glances, wary, calculating. Lila recovered, voice silk. Sophie, let's negotiate. The house, forget it. But help us out, and we help you. Annuity, maybe. Comfortable sunset years. Sunset years. Like I was a painting fading in the attic. No deal. I'm keeping my money, my house, my life. And you're confessing. To the authorities. Clean slate, or I go public. Ethan laughed, Bitter. Confess? To what? Hypotheticals. To the truth. All of it. I leaned in, voice steel. Or I tell the world how you forgot to lock the door that night. How the rug was frayed just so. Silence stretched, taut as piano wire. Lila broke it. You're unhinged. Get out. I did, but not before snapping photos on my flip phone. The papers, their faces. Evidence snowballing. Driving home, rain sheeting the windshield, I felt alive, raw, electric. But doubt crept in. Was this justice or just spite? Ethan was still my blood, warped as he was. Could I destroy him? Hell yes. Would I? Riley's next drop came Monday, audio. A wiretap. Legal, he swore, of Ethan and Voss. The old lady snooping. Says she knows about the flips. Voss, handle it. Quietly. Handle it. Like I was a loose end. That's when I knew. No half measures. I called Marla, voice steady. File the trust. And tipped the SEC anonymously. Let the chips fall. She paused. You sure, Soph? This scorches earth. Burn it, I said. I'm the phoenix. The fallout hit like a Chicago gale. SEC raided Voss and Associates Tuesday dawn. Headlines screaming blue blood bust. Insider scheme exposed. Ethan's name surfaced by noon. Associate implicated. Lila's firm shuttered overnight. Her daddy's empire crumbling like week-old bread. They showed up at my door that evening, soaked and desperate. Ethan, unshaven, eyes wild. Lila, makeup streaked, clutching a Louis Vuitton like a shield. Mom, please, he begged, on his knees in the foyer. We need a loan. Just till this blows over. I stood there, arms crossed, the same hallway where I'd died. Loan? Try reckoning. What do you want? Lila spat, venom cracking her poise. Money? The house. Take it. Truth, I said. Admit it. The scheme. The threats. And whatever else you're hiding. Ethan crumpled, sobs racking him. It was Voss. He roped me in. Debts from Yale, bad bets. Lila. She didn't know at first. Lila whirled. Liar. You begged for it. There, the fracture. They turned on each other like rats in a sack, accusations flying. Her pushing the flips for daddy's approval, him skimming extras for a mistress in Milwaukee. Mistress? Twist of the knife. But the Real bomb dropped when Ethan, broken, whispered, and the baby, the one we lost. It wasn't mine. Silence. Lila's face shattered. You bastard. That's why. DNA test, he'd suspected. Voss's, not his. The grandkids' ploy? Leverage to keep me hooked, funding their escape to a life without the mess. I watched them unravel, pity mingling with triumph. Get out, I said finally. Cops are coming. Confess or rot. They left in a cab as sirens wailed distant. By morning, arrests made national news. Voss to trial, Lila flipping for immunity, Ethan pleading guilty to lesser charges. 5 years, probation. No house, no empire, just echoes. Me? I sold the old colonial for a tidy sum. Bought a bungalow in Door County, Wisconsin. Waves crashing, bookshelves groaning. Marla visited summers. Riley sent Christmas cards. No grandkids, but peace. And in quiet nights, staring at the lake, I'd whisper thanks to whatever glitch brought me back. Refusal changed everything. All right. Not just theirs. Mine. Winter clamped down on Chicago like a vice. The kind that turns your breath to ice crystals and your thoughts to grudges. It was November 2005 now, and my bungalow dream was still a sketch on notebook paper, but the fire Riley had lit under the Voss machine was spreading like dry tinder. I kept the TV off mostly, too many talking heads dissecting the Windy City white-collar wipeout, but the library whispers were enough. Patrons who'd nod politely over holds on Danielle Steele now shot me sidelong glances, like I was the witch who'd cursed the golden couple. Ethan called from Cook County Jail, collect. I accepted the first one, curiosity overriding sense. His voice crackled through the line, hollowed out. Mom? It's me. They say you're the one who. Tip them. I cradled the receiver in the kitchen, the same yellow wallpaper peeling like old skin. Tipped. Try truth, Ethan. You built your castle on lies. It toppled. A pause, breaths ragged. I didn't mean for it to go this way. Voss, he threatened me. Said if I backed out, he'd expose the Yale thing. The hazing, the transplant fraud. Your liver, Mom. He'd say I faked it to scam you. Transplant fraud. The words landed like fists. I'd known about the hazing, booze-fueled idiocy that fried his organ. But the scam? He'd played me, sobbing in the hospital, charts forged to bump him up the list. My liver, carved out like a holiday roast for a lie. "You son of a bitch," I whispered, but there was no heat left. Just ash. "I'm sorry," he choked. "For everything. The house. It was Lila's idea. To lock you in, make you complicit. Then the accident. We never planned." "Never planned." I laughed, brittle. "You left the door unlocked, Ethan. You frayed that rug with a box cutter. I saw the fibers in the trash. Don't gaslight a dead woman." Silence, then a sob. "I deserve this. But, can you visit?" One time, I hung up without answering. "Visit? Like feeding a stray that had clawed your hand?" "No. But doubt not. Blood's thicker than bourbon, or so they say." Instead, I drove to the jail the next week, unannounced. The visiting room was a fluorescent hell, plexiglass dividers, inmates in orange jumpsuits that washed everyone sickly pale. Ethan shuffled in, shackled, looking like a deflated balloon, gaunt cheeks, eyes sunken. "Mom," he breathed, pressing the phone to his ear. "You came." "Don't," I said, voice flat. "This isn't forgiveness. It's fact-finding. Tell me the rest. The mistress. The baby." He deflated further, glancing at the guard. "Not here. Please. Here. Now. Or I walk." Words tumbled then, a confessional flood. The Milwaukee woman, barista named Tara, met on a business trip. Fling turned affair, her pregnant by spring. Lila found out, confronted Voss. He paid her off, $20K to vanish. But the stress, the miscarriage. She blamed me, said it was karma. Karma. The word hung, ironic. And the house demand. Part of the cover? Ethan nodded, miserable. To fund the payoffs. Voss's cut, Tara's silence. Your money was clean, untouchable. We figured you'd cave, like always. Always. The martyr mantle I'd worn till it chafed raw. You figured wrong this time. He reached for the glass, palm flat. I know. But Mom, help me. Bail, lawyer, anything. For old times. Old times. Little league games where I'd cheer from bleachers, rain or shine. Birthday cakes baked at midnight. Old times died with me, Ethan. On that rug. I stood, chair scraping. His pleas chased me. Mom, wait. But I didn't look back. Outside, the cold slapped sense into me. No bail. Let him stew. Marla called that night, her Brooklyn transplant accent thick with glee. Soft. The feds love you, anonymous tip or not. Voss is singing like Sinatra, implicating half the city council. Your boy's getting a deal. 3 years, if he flips on Lila. Deal? I echoed, pouring wine. Cheap Merlot from the Jewel. He doesn't deserve mercy. Mercy? This is chess, doll. He rats. She sinks deeper. You want her buried. I sipped, tart on my tongue. Lila, the architect, the ice queen. In the old life, she'd visited my grave once, flowers in hand. But her eyes? Dry as dust. Bury them both. By Christmas, the pleas evolved. Lila's lawyer, a slick weasel named Hargrove, no relation, sent a letter, settlement offer. Dropped the allegations, and they'd deed over a condo in Streeterville. For family harmony, it read. Harmony. Like we'd ever sing the same tune again. I burned it in the sink, watching flames lick vellum. Instead, I met Riley for lunch at a Greek spot in Greektown. Gyros dripping, ouzo burning. He slid a USB drive across the Formica. Final dossier. Lila's emails, hacked legally, via her idiot IT guy. Goldmine. I plugged it into my ancient desktop that night, the fan whirring like a death rattle. Folders upon folders, Voss directives, Ethan's compliance logs, even a thread about the mother-in-law problem. Lila's words. If she balks, accelerate plan B. The fall was always contingency. Contingency. My death, reduced to a checkbox. But deeper, a subfolder. Legacy. Scans of letters, my letters, from Dad's war days, tucked in Ethan's Yale box. I'd found them once, in the old timeline, after rifling his things post-burglary. Notes on resilience, on fighting dirty when the world's rigged. Use it, Lila had annotated. Turn her martyr complex against her. Sick. They'd weaponized my own history. But one file stopped me cold. A paternity test, dated pre-wedding. Voss's DNA, a 99.9 match to the fetus. And a note from Ethan. Leverage? Or goodbye? Goodbye. He'd considered bolting before the vows. Lila's reply, stay? Play long game. Her assets seal it. Long game. My life, they're pot odds. Rage boiled, but so did clarity. This wasn't just greed. It was a syndicate, generational rot. Voss had groomed Lila. Ethan the pawn promoted tonight. New Year's Eve, I hosted a solo toast in the living room. Champagne flutes clinking to phantom guests. Fireworks popped distant over the lake. But my mind plotted, spring thaw, when the ground softens for planting or uprooting. January brought subpoenas. The feds wanted my statement. Anonymous tipster, outed by Ethan's loose lips. I lawyered up tighter, Marla coaching me through depositions in a federal building that smelled of stale coffee and desperation. Stick to facts, she said. No rebirth rants. Facts, the threats, the research, the intuitions that prove prophetic. The prosecutor, a bulldog named Vasquez, leaned in during prep. Mrs. Harlan, this family's rotten to the core. Voss laundered through flips like that Oak Park house. Your money would have greased it perfect. I nodded, throat tight. They almost had me. Vasquez smiled, wolfish. Almost don't count. Trial season hit February, a circus in the Dirksen courthouse. I testified third day, the gallery packed with reporters scribbling like fiends. Voss sat stone-faced, Lila beside him in Chanel, Ethan in a cheap suit 2 sizes off. My voice echoed off marble. They demanded my life savings for a lie. When I refused, they threatened. When that failed, they planned worse. Cross-exam was a circus. Lila's lawyer painting me hysterical, a widow's paranoia. But the emails, the audio? Checkmate. Jurors' eyes hardened. By March, verdicts. Voss, 15 years. Lila, 7 with cooperation. Ethan, 18 months. House arrest, then community service. No McMansion, just a plea-bargained plea. He wrote from county lockup, pages smudged with tears. Mom, I get it now. The monster you saw? It's me. But blood. Blood's a chain, not a crown. I wrote back, my first reply. Break it, or it breaks you. Spring came gentle, tulips pushing through mulch like stubborn hope. I closed on the bungalow, waves lapping Lake Michigan's edge, books unpacked in sunlit nooks. Marla helped hang curtains, her laugh booming. Soft, you look 10 years younger. What's the secret? Black magic. Revenge, I said, half joking. The clean kind. Riley visited once, awkward in civvies. Case closed. But you're something else, Harlan. Something, I agreed, handing him a beer on the porch. Sunset bled orange over water, gulls crying. Alive. Ethan released in June, gaunt ghost of himself. He showed up uninvited, duffel in hand. Can I crash? Till I get on my feet. The old me would have melted. This me? Feet first, Ethan. Rehab, job, prove you're not the fixer anymore. He nodded, eyes down. Fair. But, can we try? Mother and son. Try. The word dangled, fragile. One dinner. Neutral ground. Then we see. We met at a diner off Sheridan. Burgers and shakes, fluorescent hum. He talked AA meetings, job hunts at temp agencies. No Lila. She'd skipped to Europe on bail, Voss's last dime. She's done, he said. Like us. Us. Not quite. But as fries cooled, I saw flickers. The boy who'd built forts in the backyard, dreams big as the sky. Time, I said. That's what you owe me. Time to rebuild. He smiled, tentative. First real one in years. Summer deepened, and so did the thaw. Visits stretched, picnics by the pier, walks where he'd hold my arm like I was frail, not forged in fire. Secrets spilled gentler now. His regrets, my visions framed as dreams. No full truth, not yet. Some graves stay shut. Twist came Labor Day, a letter from Lila, postmarked Paris. Sophie, you won. But know this, Ethan's not yours. Voss affair, pre-Yale. You're a golden boy. Borrowed goods. DNA enclosed, irrefutable. My husband, gone a decade by then, cuckolded? Or worse, new? Rage flared, then fizzled. Didn't matter. Ethan was mine by choice, by scar tissue shared. I showed him, over coffee in my kitchen, new, all-white cabinets and herbs on the sill. His face crumpled. I suspected. But, you're still Mom. Still. The word healed cracks I didn't know bled. And you're still my pain in the ass, I said, hugging him fierce. Fall leaves turned, and with them, decisions. I willed the bungalow to a scholarship fund, for single moms chasing degrees, livers, or no. Ethan got a token, my old Taurus, for the road ahead. He moved to Milwaukee, Irony's wink. Temp work turning permanent. Tara? A ghost. But he mentioned coffee dates. Cautious. No rush. As snow dusted first, I sat on the porch, book in lap, some cozy mystery, irony thick. Refusal hadn't just changed everything. It had rewritten the script. From victim to victor, ghost to guardian. And in the quiet, I'd whisper to the wind, thanks for the do-over. Because second chances? They're the real American dream. By 2006, the scars from that winter had faded to silver lines, the kind you trace in the mirror and call character. Chicago's summers are brutal, humid hugs that stick your shirt to your back. But that July, I traded the concrete jungle for Door County's cool breezes, the bungalow my fortress of solitude. I'd leased it furnished at first, testing waters. But by Memorial Day, it was home. Linen drapes billowing like sails, a hammock strung between maples, and shelves groaning under mysteries I'd curated from decades of library discards. No Ethan portraits on the walls, just seascapes from a Sturgeon Bay gallery, waves crashing, eternal. He visited weekends, the drive from Milwaukee a 3-hour penance he claimed didn't chafe. We'd grill brats on the deck, Wisconsin-style, beer brined, and talk around the edges. His night classes at community college, aiming for a real estate license, clean this time. My volunteer gig at the local historical society, digitizing ledgers from shipwrecks past. Karma, I'd quip, drowning rats and all. But undercurrents swirled. Lila's letter had cracked something foundational, and though Ethan swore it changed nothing, you're the one who stayed up nights with my fevers. Doubt lingered like lake fog. Was forgiveness a bridge or a trapdoor? Marla, visiting for the 4th, sensed it over Esmo rays by the fire pit. Soft, you're eyeing that kid like he's a bad bet. Cut loose or commit? Commit to what? I poked the embers, sparks rising like accusations. He's clean now, but one slip. She swatted my arm, cigarillo glowing. Then slip with him. Life's not a ledger. Ledger. The word nagged. I'd locked my assets tight. Irrevocable trust, Marla's masterpiece, but loose ends frayed. Riley's final invoice arrived that August, a bill for consulting, with a P.S. Voss appealing. Watch your 6. Watch my 6. Like I was in the trenches, not tending tulips. The appeal hearing was virtual, a Zoom farce from my laptop on the kitchen island. Voss, jolly in orange, droned about procedural errors. Lila testified remote from a halfway house in Gary, hair-chopped boyish, eyes hollow. I was coerced, she claimed, voice pixelated. By father. By Ethan. Ethan. His name on her lips twisted my gut. He watched, too, from his studio apartment, screen sharing like a confessional. She's lying, he muttered as she detailed the pressures, debts, threats, my interference, painted as sabotage. Sabotage. I snorted, pausing the feed for coffee. Try salvation. But her closer chilled. Sophie Harlan knew the risks. She profited. Assets frozen from scrutiny. Profited. The gallery murmured, judge's gavel virtual thump. Denial came swift, appeal tossed, but the mud stuck. Local rag ran a sidebar, mother-in-law's revenge. Windy City widow's roll in dynasty downfall. Widow's roll. Overnight, my inbox, new Gmail account, filled with hate, gold-digging hack. Family wrecker. Even death threats, typed in all caps fury. I forwarded to Vasquez, who grumbled. Par for the course. Change your number. Number changed, but peace? Shattered. Nights, I'd wake sweating, the old fall replaying. Tumble, crack, Ethan's shadow looming. Rebirth hadn't erased the trauma, it had amplified it. Every creak in the floorboards a ghost step. Ethan drove up that weekend, face stormy. You see the article? They're crucifying you. Us. I corrected, handing him a Laney's from the fridge. We sat on the deck, sunset gilding the bay. Spill. What's eating you? He cracked the bottle, foam hissing. Lila's lawyer called, offering a sit down. Closure, she says. Closure. The words soured like milk. And I told him to pound sand. But part of me wonders, what if she apologizes? Real. Real. Like Ethan's sobriety, or my second chance. Apologies are cheap, kid. Actions? Priceless. He nodded, but eyes distant. Milwaukee suited him. Factory job by day, classes by night. But restlessness simmered. Tara asked about meeting you. Says hi. Tara, the barista ghost. Tell her coffee sometime. Neutral turf. He grinned, boyish flash. Progress. September brought harvest festivals, pumpkin patches, cider presses, and a surprise. Voss's stroke, mid-appeal brief. Coma, they said. Lila flew back, playing dutiful daughter for the cameras. I watched from afar, news ticker scrolling. Poetic, Marla texted. Old man's finally out. Out. But Lila? She cornered Ethan at a gas station off I-43, per his frantic call. She wants to talk. Alone. Says it's about the baby. Baby. The specter. I forbade it, snake in the grass. But he went, stubborn streak flaring. Diner in Green Bay, neutral as Nebraska. He recounted later, voice tight. She looked wrecked. Blamed me for everything. The loss, the lies. Then drops this. Voss isn't the only secret. Your husband's will? He cut me out. Knew about the affair. Affair? Dad's old flame? No, mine. Ethan's bio dad wasn't Harlan. Some summer fling in 65, pre-wedding jitters. Harlan knew, forgave, but rewrote the will. Trust for legitimate heirs. Ethan got scraps. You were legitimate. I snapped, pacing the living room. By love, by law. Harlan adopted you proper. But the money, the house push? It was to prove I deserved it. Voss promised to fix the will, forge addendums. Forge. The web tightened, generational deceit. And the fall? To inherit clean? Ethan paled. No. God, no. That was panic, after you dug. Lila said handle it, but I chickened. Left the door, hoping a scare. Not that. Chickened. Half-truth, maybe. But his tears, real, wrenching, cracked my armor. Enough, I said, pulling him close. No more secrets. We're Harlan enough. October's chill heralded change. Tara joined us for apple picking, petite, tattooed, with a laugh like wind chimes. She grilled Ethan gentle, no grudges. Past fertilizer, she said, handing me a cider. Grows better things. Better things. Over pumpkin pie that night, Ethan proposed. Ring from a pawn shop, cubic zirconia sparkle. Not fancy, he said, but real. Tara teared up. I clinked forks. To real. Finally. But November whispered warnings. Lila's halfway house release. Early for good behavior. She emailed Ethan. Congrats. But Sophie's poison. Watch your back. Poison. I screenshotted, sent to Vasquez. Stalking vibes, he replied. Restraining order? Order filed, but unease festered. Full moon nights, I'd patrol the property. Flashlight beam cutting dark. Waves whispering conspiracies. Rebirth's gift, hypervigilance, or curse. Thanksgiving, we hosted small. Me, Ethan, Tara, Marla via video from Boca. Turkey carved, stories swapped. No scandals, just gratitude. As pie steamed, Ethan raised a glass. To Mom. The refusal that saved us. Saved. The word warmed, but as snow flurried first, a package arrived. Anonymous, postmarked Gary. Inside, charred photos, my wedding, Ethan's graduation, with a note, burned bridges. Watch them crumble. Lila. Vasquez mobilized, trace, surveil. But she vanished, trail cold as Lake Superior. December dawn brittle. Ethan and Tara honeymoon cheap. Dells, not Napa. While I strung lights solo, bulbs twinkling defiant. Riley called Christmas Eve, she's in Canada. Fake ID, Voss holdouts funding. Extradition pending. Pending. Like justice or peace. I hung up, Carol's crooning low. Enough. Time to live, not lurk. New Year's, I invited locals, society gals, book club stragglers, for bubbly and bonfires. Laughter echoed, fire crackling secrets away. Ethan texted fireworks emojis from a cabin, Tara's ring glinting in selfies. As midnight tolled, I stepped to the shore, toes numb in sand. Waves lapped, eternal. Refusal's echo, not destruction, but dawn. From ashes, I'd forged family, not blood, but chosen. And in that moment, under stars sharp as truth, I knew the story wasn't revenge. It was reclamation. 2007 rolled in like a hangover, economy teetering, headlines howling subprime doom, but in Door County, the world shrank to cherry blossoms and cherry pies. I'd gone full local by spring. Herb garden tilled. Yoga class Tuesdays at the community center, where blue hairs downward dozed with surprising grace. Ethan and Tara settled in Milwaukee proper, her barista gig blooming to co-owner of a cafe, Tara's Brew, with my old cookbooks propping open doors. He passed his real estate exam clean, slinging condos to young families, no flips in sight. Ethical listings only, he'd boast over Skype, Tara waving from the background, belly just rounding with their first. Pregnancy news hit me sideways. Joy spiked with vertigo. Grandbaby. Real this time, no contingencies. Due July. Tara beamed during a porch visit, her hand on the swell. Naming rights to you, Sophie. Boy or girl? I teared up, absurdly, pressing a palm to her bump. Kick fluttering like Morse code. Harlan strong, I whispered. Ethan hugged us both, his frame filled out, demons dormant. But dormant ain't dead. Lila's vanishing act gnawed, a low hum under the idol. Vasquez updated quarterly. She's in Toronto, waitressing under alias. Extradition treaties a slog, Canada's soft on white collar. Soft, like her sentencing. I filed it away, focusing forward, baby shower planning, ultrasounds mailed like treasures. June's heat wave baked the county, AC units wheezing. Marla flew in for the shower, pink and blue streamers in the community hall, quilts-eyed pieced from Dad's old shirts. Soph, you're glowing, she said, clinking mimosas. Motherhood Redux suits. Redux. The word lingered as guests cooed over onesies. Ethan cornered me by the punch bowl. You okay? Seem. Distant. Distant? Try haunted. Just ghosts, kid. Lila's. He stiffened. Forget her. We're good. Good. But July 4th, fireworks over the bay, Tara's water broke early, panic dashed to Green Bay ER, me white-knuckling the Taurus. Labor dragged, monitors beeping like accusations, but dawn brought him. Elias Harlan, red-faced squall, tiny fists balled like his grandpa's. I held him first, Ethan's nod permission, Tara dozing serene. Perfect, I breathed, inhaling that new baby scent, milk and miracle. Elias anchored us, summer blurring to bottles and burps. I drove down weekly, bunking in their spare, now nursery, walls painted sailboats. Nights, I'd rock him when colic struck, humming Sinatra, Ethan's eyes soft in lamplight. You're a natural, Mom. Again. Again. Rebirth's quiet joke. August whispered trouble. A collect call, Lila, from a Toronto lockup. Extradition approved. She was stateside bound. Sophie. Her voice, tinny, cracked. I need to see you. Before. Everything. Everything. Sentencing hearing October. Why? I asked, Elias gurgling oblivious. Closure. For him. Him, Elias? Or Ethan? Please. I hung up, stomach sour. Closure's a luxury for the unbetrayed. But curiosity, that itch, won. I flew to Chicago, Marla meeting at O'Hare. Masochist, she grumbled, hailing a cab. What are you chasing? Endgame, I said. Courtroom was stark, same Dirksen chill, gallery thin. Lila in gray scrubs, hair lank, no Chanel armor. She spotted me, eyes locking, pleading predatory? Vasquez prepped me in a side room. She's pleading diminished capacity, abuse from Voss. Might shave time. Diminished. I snorted. She orchestrated my murder plot. He shrugged. Proof's thin. Threatening, sure. But conspiracy? Hearsay. Hearsay. My death, reduced. Hearing dragged. Shrinks testifying trauma, Voss's shadow long. Lila took the stand, voice quaver. I was trapped. Father's empire, Ethan's weakness. Sophie, she saw through, but I lashed. The plan? Desperation, not design. Desperation. Jurors leaned in, sympathetic. Then cross. Emails, Ms. Voss. Handle the MIL problem. Your words. She crumbled, tears real. Fear. Not death. Lie. But the judge bought mercy. 4 years, suspended 2, community service. Out in 18 months. She cornered me post-verdict, in the hall, guards lax. Sophie, thank you for coming. Coming. For this? Spit it, Lila. What's the play? No play. She clutched my arm, nails bitten nubs. I'm done. Broke. But, Elias, tell Ethan, I'm sorry. For the baby, the lies. Voss's, not his. But it broke us. Broke. Sympathy flickered, unbidden. Why tell me? You're the survivor. He listens to you. Pause, I searching. And, the will. Harlan's. I have proof, forged, but Voss did it. To hook Ethan. Destroy it. Destroy. The final thread. She slipped a USB into my palm, small, cold. For peace. Peace. I pocketed it. walking away as bailiffs herded her. Marla waited outside, cigarette lit. Well, complicated, I said, hailing a cab to O'Hare. On the flight, I scanned the drive. Scans of the will, annotations in Voss's scrawl, addendums inserting Ethan as heir, dated post-adoption. Forgery blatant, ink bled. Back in door, I showed Ethan over coffee, Elias teething on a ring. His face cycled, shock, relief, rage. Bastard. All for what? A con. Legacy, I said, twisted as it was. We burned it in the fire pit that night, flames devouring deceit. Clean slate. Slate cleaned, but September storms brewed bigger. Subprime crash hit, ripples lapping Milwaukee. Ethan's agency folded, clients fleeing foreclosures. Temp again, he joked, but eyes shadowed. Tara's cafe scraped by, shifts doubling. I offered help, quiet, no strings. Trust dividend. For Elias. He wavered. Mom, after everything. Everything includes grace, I said. Take it. He did. Pride dented but bending. By Halloween, he rebounded. Job at a nonprofit, housing counseling for evictees. Irony. He laughed, carving pumpkins with Elias goo-smeared. Helping folks keep roofs. Roofs. The house that started it all. Foreclosed, auctioned to a young couple, poetic flip. November elections buzzed, but my vote went local, Historical Society Board, preserving ship logs. Your revenge. Riley teased, calling from retirement in Florida. Paper trails. Timelines, I corrected. Rewritten. Thanksgiving, we gathered at the bungalow. Elias toddling, Tara's pie lattice perfect. No Marla. Hip surgery sidelined her. But toasts flowed. To health, to home. December deepened the crash. Bear Stearns whispers. But door held steady. Tourists fleeing cities for quiet. Christmas, Elias's first. Tree trimmed with Harlan ornaments. My gift a locket. Mini photo of us three. New Year's loomed gentle, but Lila's shadow stretched. Parole hearing January. Early release possible. Ethan got the notice. Victim impact statement requested. Write it, I asked, snow blanketing the deck. He nodded, pen scratching late. Not hate. Truth. Truth. His words, raw. Betrayal scar, but healing's grace. You gave me a son, he read to me dawnlit. That's redemption enough. Redemption. Judge denied early out. Lila served full, Voss wasting in hospice. Spring 2008, cherry blossoms burst as Elias walked, wobbly steps to my arms. Ethan landed steady work. Tara expanded the cafe. I dated casual, a widower from the society, boat rides and banter. No rush, life's long, second time round. Twist's tale, summer solstice, a letter from Lila, penitentiary post. Out in 2010. Changing name, starting over. Tell Elias. Auntie wishes luck. No apology, just ellipsis. I filed it with the ashes. Enough. As July heat peaked, Elias's birthday. Pool party at the bungalow, kids splashing. Ethan grilled, Tara iced cake. I watched heart full. Refusal's legacy, not ashes, but bloom. From demanded mortgage to mended family. Changed, yes. Everything. The crash of '08 hit Door County like a squall. Tourists thinned, B&Bs boarded windows, but my bungalow stood firm, mortgage-free anchor in the storm. By 2009, Elias was a tornado toddler, chasing fireflies, demanding gamma soft stories of pirate ships and phoenix moms. I spun them sanitized. No falls, just flights from bad magic. Ethan thrived in his nonprofit grind, counseling families through evictions with a zeal born of ghosts. Your fault, he'd tease over Easter ham. You made me soft. Soft, I'd retort, passing peace. Strategic, like refusing that mortgage. Tara laughed. Her cafe a community hub now. Free coffees for the jobless. Chalkboard specials scrawled hopeful. Pregnancy 2 simmered. Girl this time. After you, Sophie. Strong name. Strong. The word echoed as years layered. 2010 brought Lila's release. Tabloids tittered, heiress to has been. But she vanished quiet. Vancouver whispers. No contact, good riddance. Marla passed that fall. Heart attack, swift as a plot twist. Her will. Cabin in the Poconos, note taped inside. For when you need escape, sophomore. Or revenge round 2. I sold it, funding Elias's college fund. Grandma Marla's legacy. I told him at 4, piggy bank clinking. Ethan proposed expanding the nonprofit, Harlan House, transitional housing for elder abuse survivors. Your story, anonymized, he said, blueprints spread on my kitchen table. 2012 groundbreaking. Me wielding the shovel, dirt flying symbolic. To refusals, toast red, hard hats clinking. Refusals, plural now. I refused chemo when breast cancer whispered 2014. Early catch, but aggressive. Fight dirty, Riley advised. Visiting from Florida, his mustache grayer. I did. Trials, yoga, Elias's hugs like talismans. Remission by Christmas, scars Bajnil. Elias hit school age, kindergarten chaos, crayon masterpieces, parent-teacher nights where I'd beam, Ethan beside. Tara homeschooled part-time. Their girl Nora arriving 2013, red curls and sass. Double trouble, Ethan groaned, but eyes shone. 2015, twist resurfaced. Lila, in a true crime pod, betrayed bloodlines. Her voice modulated, spilling vast dirt for clicks. The mother-in-law? Unsung hero. Her no saved lives. Hero. I listened once. Earbuds in on a beach walk. Waves drowning her cadence. Deleted, untroubled. Riley retired full, but mentored Ethan. Keep it clean, kid. He did. Harlan House expanding to Milwaukee, Chicago branches. 2017 gala. Me emceeing, spotlight warm. From demanded dollars to dedicated dwellings, I quipped, crowd chuckling. Ethan teared up backstage. Proud, Mom. Proud. Reciprocal now. 2020's plague locked us down, but door adapted. Virtual story hours, porch suppers. Elias, teen lanky, Zoom-schooled with Nora, their antics buffering isolation. Ethan pivoted the nonprofit remote. Evictions halted mercifully. I baked, mailed care packages, cookies stamped, refused to break. 2022, silver anniversary of the refusal. Ethan threw a bash, beach bonfire. Elias, 17, strummed guitar. Nora, 9, danced wild. Tara grilled, Marla's cigarillo ghost in the smoke. To do-overs. Ethan toasted, arm round me. Do-overs. My secret, half shared in whispers, felt like dying, then waking. Best refusal ever. He hugged tighter. Ours too. 2025 dawned crisp, current date December 2nd. Elias off to UW-Madison, Nora middle school mischief. Harlan House National now, chapters in 5 states. Ethan graying at temples, Tara's Cafe a chainlet. Lila, obituary that spring, overdose, Vancouver Alley. Closure, quiet. I sit porch side, book open, new Grisham, irony thick. Waves lap, eternal. From betrayal's brink to this bounty. Refusal's true twist, not vengeance, but victory. Changed everything? Damn right. And I'd do it again.